Well, all eyes are going to be on the Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana today, isn't it, when he presents his maiden medium-term budget policy statement. It's the mini-budget, if you will. Shortly after his appointment, he said that the country should focus on creating more jobs instead of raising funds for basic income grants. But how important have those income grants been for the period of COVID-19? Well, BUSA, Business Unity South Africa, agreeing with that. So Cas Coovadia is BUSA CEO, joining us now. Good morning to you, Cas. Always a pleasure having you on ENCA. So you agreeing with the Minister for more social grants. Is that reading correct of what you're saying?
No, I don't think we're agreeing with the Minister. The Minister didn't say more social grants. I think what the Minister said is that instead of expending money on grants, we should be creating an environment and moving towards economic growth that creates jobs, and we would agree with that. We don't believe that continuing to increase different forms of grants is sustainable, because we just don't have the money for it. We have an economy that's not growing. We have a tax base that's shrinking. We have a debt burden that's increasing. Where do we find the money for increasing social grants? What we've got to increasing all sorts of grants. What we've got to concentrate on is what do we need to do to actually attract investment and begin building our economy? And I think that's what the Minister said. We would agree with that.
And how would you help him do that? How would you advise him to do that then moving forward? Cas?
Well, what we've said is that, you know, given our history, given where we are currently, a lot of the levers lie with government. Business cannot create the environment for investment. Only government can create the environment for investment. And that is, and it's not just the Minister of Finance's job. It's unfortunately a whole of government job. We've got to have policy certainty. We've got to have political certainty. Government has got to speak with one voice. You can't have a cabinet that's not aligned behind the president. We also have to ensure that we begin to develop the capacity in government for it to implement, because a lot of our problems is that because we don't implement decisions that have already been taken. Now, these are all issues that lie in the hand of government currently. We've indicated that where business can help in those circumstances is that we're prepared to, if government is prepared to talk to us about capacity that they might need, expertise that they might need, more than willing to assist with that and to get implementation going. So I think it's those sorts of things. We've got to appreciate that we are competing robustly. We need to compete robustly for investment. Post-COVID, many countries are beginning to rebuild, want to rebuild, and will be in the market for investment. And so we've got to compete with those countries, including countries just to the north of our borders on the continent, who are essentially saying we are open for business and we will create the environment for investment. And we need to do that. So a lot of that lies with government, and we need some hard decisions. So, you know, the decision that the president took on raising the ceiling for embedded energy to 100 megawatts, is that sort of courageous decision that we need. It was the correct thing to do, despite the fact that some parts of government were actually delaying that. And we need some hard decisions, we need some hard choices. And that's just where we are, and a lot of that needs leadership from government.
And let's see if that leadership comes out today. It's always good to have you with us. I know there's always a lot to talk on, but that is the view as of today from Cas Coovadia, Business Unity South Africa CEO, ahead of the mini-budget, the medium-term budget policy statement, if you will. We can expect a lot more build-up to that later in the day from the Finance Minister and, of course, reaction once it's announced. Let's take a look at what our polls look like this morning from our